Hello, hello, and welcome everybody to the special drop in episode and announcement. I am so excited to share with you the newest addition to the BGH Shena Lashey family that I've been working on in the background, that I've been praying about, that I've been waiting for the right time to introduce it. And that new addition is a new podcast, and it's called The Business of Healing. So at the end of last year, I started to, some of you, if you have kind of binged the podcast or if you've been listening for a while, you would know that there were several episodes near the second half of last year where I was attempting to weave in some of the unique experiences of being a professional healer, right? So, what does it look like to build a business, the things that come up for you, the thoughts that you have, the self belief that you need? The boundaries that you need. I didn't really go into actual business practices and things to consider here on the podcast because it just felt like it didn't quite fit. We talk about healing and we talk about emotions and we talk about trauma here. So to weave that in, it just didn't make sense. But I started to talk about those things because for years and I do have women who have reached out for mentorship and for wanting to pick my brain and for consultations and just really interested in what I've built here and the processes behind it. Either because they're just starting out or they're in the same place that I am and they're just wanting to connect, right? They're just wanting to build community. And so I wove in a few of those episodes and then, of course, launched the Heal Her Mastermind. However, I had some feedback from some folks when I was talking about really wanting to talk about this experience as a professional healer and provide the access and resource that were encouraging me to just talk about it here, right? I already have, of all the people who listen to this podcast, a really good number of y'all are also healers, if not professionals as far as therapists and counselors and coaches and spiritual teachers, but you are healers in your everyday life. Whether or not you work in the school system or whether or not you're a massage therapist or you are taking care of women behind the chair while you're doing their hair or whether or not you're the safe space in your friend group or in the neighborhood. Like there are so many of y'all who are healers, even if it's not, you don't have specific letters behind your name that says that, right? And so talking about those things here felt like, even if there's so many of y'all here who are listening, it felt like it would be taking us off topic to go from talking about love addiction and trauma and inner healing and self-development to now let's talk about these things as well. And so I really struggled with that for a little bit. And so the sabbatical that I had to take for my health, the forced sabbatical that I ended up having to take for my health and closing all my programs for a minute really did some good work too. In that idea, right, that everything is happening for you, not to you, but for you. And that it gave me space to heal in a lot of ways and to think and to examine and look at what is it that I want, why I want it, and really look at trusting my own voice and trusting what works for me and looking at what is my path versus the path that others may suggest. And one of the things that emerged from that is I do want to create another space for other healers to get that insight, to get that support, and to talk about the integration of business with your self development, with your sense of self, with your relationships. So that is what this podcast is going to be. It's going to be me talking about what does it look like to build a business as a healer while also balancing your own self development work, your own self belief, your own relationships, your relationship with your business, your relationship with burnout, your relationship with others, and integrating all of that together. And so here is the trailer for the podcast. You can go ahead and subscribe now. There's already an episode up that talks about the three pillars that we're going to be talking about on this podcast, which are building our business, our beliefs, and our boundaries, and then more about my backstory and my history. So if you have ever been interested in what has brought me to this place professionally and the things that I have done and that I'm currently doing, then that is going to be a great episode for you to listen to. So go ahead, check it out, subscribe. Please leave a review so that other people can find it as well. And I look forward to growing with y'all in that space, in addition to this space and all the other spaces that we have here to support your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, and all of your healing needs. So that's it for now. And without any further ado, I would love to introduce you to the Business of Healing podcast. As an author, podcaster, former therapist, and love addiction coach who has built a successful private practice and online coaching business, I've learned a lot about what it takes to make a business work as a healer and a professional. And as a woman committed to being a better person, lover, and friend, I've learned a lot about what it means to heal and grow and be my best self. In the Business of Healing podcast, I will talk about what happens when these worlds collide. What does it look like to build a successful business as a therapreneur and healer? How does self-esteem impact entrepreneurship and vice versa? How does one actively heal in the public eye as they're teaching others to do the same? And where does one place the boundaries of love, family, life, and relationships, along with the boundaries with clients, students, patients, and even for those of us who have customers who become our friends? This podcast is about growth, healing, and entrepreneurship, and everything in between for healers across disciplines who help others transform, heal, and be their best selves. So join me in honest and practical conversations as we talk all things business, self-belief, and boundaries, and building our best lives for ourselves and the people that we serve.